Today we have the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. This is a top limited trim, and this is still under $40,000, and it is a serious bang for buck two-row SUV. We're gonna do a full detailed review of the exterior, inside, all the headroom and features, and go for a test drive. Let's get started. Now, taking a look at the exterior of the Hyundai Santa Fe, it was redesigned last year for 2019, and it's still the same for this 2020 model. We have LED daytime running lights and accent lighting standard on every single trim, but in order to get LED headlights and LED fog lights, you have to get to the SEL trim in order to have them optional, but they're standard here. And the daytime running light is separated from the headlight, which I'm not a fan of that design, but these actually do a pretty good job. These LED lights have definitely done good enough for me. It does have a fairly large grille with chrome accents on there. It's a sophisticated look in my opinion, especially paired with this quartz white paint. That's the way I feel. Let me know what you think. It does have a little bit of a metallic flake in it as well. Now, wheels are going to range from 17 on the low trim to 18 and then to 19 on our top trim. We have the 19-inch wheels with 235/55 series tires, and right up above, our mirrors are heated with turn signals on the SEL trim and up. We have body color, satin chrome, or dark chrome door handles depending on the trim as well, and we have the dark chrome on ours, of course. The Santa Fe is a mid-size SUV. It's just a two-row. It's 187.8 inches long, certainly less than the Hyundai Palisade, but longer than the Hyundai Tucson, so it sits about right in the middle there. And then as we come around to the back, we have a familiar design as we do with the front. Coming to the back, we've got LED taillights, which are optional on the SEL, and they really do look pretty cool at night. I like the design of these taillights. There's also gray bumper trim at the bottom of the back bumper, and just a single exhaust outlet back here. Now, when it comes to Hyundai and Kia, the way they do their smart lift tailgate is probably one of my favorites. You just have to stand by it for a few seconds, and then it will turn on, or then it will lift up, and you can turn it on or off to where it actually does this function or not. It's optional on the SEL and standard on the SEL Turbo and up. Then once you get back here, you've got some decent space. It's not class leading by any means, but it is definitely big usable space with 36 cubic feet behind the second row and just over 71 with those seats folded down, and there's a 40/60 fold going on. Now that we're back here, you can see right up above you've got a tab where you can shut it electronically. You've got a grab handle as well. It's a pretty nice usable space back here. And we have several tie downs. We've got 4 tie downs in each corner. You've got a hook right there for maybe some grocery bags or things like that. Same thing on the other side, even a 12-volt power outlet. And when I fold these down, they are power folding. There it goes. There it goes. And I don't know why that one didn't go, but still, you've got a nice flat load floor. I wish that it was a 20 or a 40-20-40 split, but this 40/60 is still nice to have. And my favorite thing about this area back here is all the extra cubby spaces. So take a look at that. You've got cubbies right up underneath of there. Lots and lots and lots of space under there. A cubby right over there. Another cubby right up under this one. And your jack kit as well. And there's a spare tire mounted under the vehicle. And even if the numbers don't suggest this being the biggest cargo space in class, it's still pretty wide because it's kind of a boxy area back here. You've got decent height right here. It's really not too bad. I can kind of lay down in here. Maybe you could maybe just camp in here. Now, the key fob for the Santa Fe does feel pretty nice. Actually, this is kind of like a rubbery coating on the outside right here. There's a real key that you can pull out. You can open your tailgate, your alarm. There's no remote start on the key fob, but you can do that with the app with the Blue Link, which is actually complimentary for 3 years, and then it's about $10 a month. So this button locks it and unlocks it, and that's all you need to know. All right, let's take a quick look at the interior of the Hyundai Santa Fe. So starting out right up above, if you like to rest your elbow up high, this is a little bit of a softer material, not too bad. And you've got this really interesting, pretty nice looking trim piece running across. I definitely didn't expect that in here. And you even got this nice looking door handle, the memory settings. Whoops, I just pushed those and moved my seat. The light gray material is also really nice and soft. You've got a decent armrest right here, although it does get pretty small back there, but I've had no troubles with that. Decent grab handle as well. Automatic up-down front windows. And then the speaker grill is really massive on this Infinity system right here. I don't care for how much it sticks out because it does block my water bottle being in here. It does work, but it kind of squishes it. Otherwise, not a bad setup, even maybe room for an umbrella. Right on the inside, we've got a button for our interior lighting, our lane keeping system, blind spot button, traction control, and to open up your cargo area. It's a pretty good solid door slam, it really is. And the rest of this Hyundai interior is better than I expected. It's not my favorite in terms of design, but overall it just works. It's functional. There's some nice materials in here. It seems like they did a good job putting things together. There's just more than I expected. Now let's go ahead and start it up. Push button start. And then right off the bat, right here in front of us, we've got this heated leather wrapped steering wheel. Got some decent bulky grips up here. It feels just fine. There's a little bit of a gap right down below. There's quite a few of these controls that you have on here as well that we can control the radio and the information display. As some of you may know, automatic rain sensing windshield wipers are some of my favorites, and we have those on this one. And then right in front of us, as you can see, we've got a split gauge. So on the left as well as on the right, this 7-inch information display in the middle is standard on the SEL trim and up. So you can see we've got a speedometer wrapped around that information setting right there, and everything can be controlled on the steering wheel. So you've got a trip computer that you can scroll through, and don't mind the miles per gallon. I've been idling a fair amount so far with this, so I can't really report on that a whole lot, but it's a nice, clean, clear thing right here. Pretty good amount of information. You got your driver assist features on here as well. And then you can customize all of those on here as well. And I'll show you the head-up display in just a second, but it's nice how much there is available to you on here without it being complicated. Then right up above, you can see the head-up display. You can even change the size and the color of that. There's a lot of information you can see. It just shows the miles per hour right now because we're just sitting still. But I mean, you got blind spot information on there as well. It's just, and you can turn that off if you want. Give you a little bit of a further view. It is small. Overall, so it's really not like distracting or anything, but like I said, you can turn it off or on. Moving across the dash, we have an 8-inch screen on this limited trim. Otherwise, you'll get a 7-inch screen. Definitely tablet style. You have some physical buttons on both sides. It's very easy to use. This is probably one of the simplest, easiest systems there is. It's nothing fancy, but it just works well. You've got navigation that you can pinch to zoom on as well. The touch settings work just fine. There's really no trouble with it. Quite a bit of standard information on here. We have the 12-speaker Infinity system. That does sound pretty good. That is optional on the SEL trim. Then when you go to setup, there are some different things that you can customize, like the way your display is. You can set things up the way you want. You can got a fair amount of vehicle settings in the information display over here, but there's some other stuff that you can do on here as well. I haven't had any glare or reflective issues with the screen, which is also very nice. And one really nice feature is we have a panoramic monitor. So I go ahead and put it in reverse. One, you can hear those parking sensors going for the front or the back. And those parking sensors will also show up on there. I'll go ahead and turn those off. But you can see next to the vehicle, and when I turn the wheel, you can even see where it says you're going to be going. So that is really nice. You can change the view on here as well. So you got just the back. You can do a corner. Again, just like a hitch line right there if you're going to tow. So that's pretty cool. And you can see around the vehicle, and it's just nice to have, easy to park. And then when I put it in drive, you can see straight out in front of you as well. And then those same kind of corner screens here as well. Pretty awesome. Another feature that we have is the blind spot monitor on this limited trim. So check that out. Put your blinker on just like I saw in the Telluride, and it literally shows you what's in your blind spot thanks to a camera in the mirror. And be sure to check out that blue Audi review as well. And then right below that, we have dual zone climate control standard in our trim. It's optional on the SEL. Everything is simple and easy to use. You can just push buttons to do everything that you need. Nothing complicated at all. You've got your heated and ventilated settings, heated steering wheel setting, and the heated seats and ventilated seats for your passengers. 3 tiers on those. Right below that, you've got a 12-volt power outlet, wireless charging, USB port, auxiliary port, and a second USB port right there. The wireless charging mat is right here, and you do have to have this turned on through the settings in your information display. So if it's not charging, that might be why. And it's just a nice storage bin if you don't wireless charge as well. We've got some nice size cup holders. They accommodate smaller and larger drinks without being too tall. My bottle fits in there no problems. The shifter is nice with a leather boot. You've got a manual control down here as well. You've got an electronic parking brake. You can turn your auto stop start system on or off here. It defaults to always being on. A brake hold button, your panoramic view button to being on, and then your parking sensors on or off. And then the drive mode, when we push the drive mode, it's going to change up there. You got comfort, sport, it's going to turn red, and then smart is going to change it depending on the way that you're driving. The car will automatically decide it, and I've just kind of left it in smart for most of the time. Another unexpected little cubby is right here. You've got this little rubber mat so stuff doesn't slide around, but it's just an extra space to store stuff, and you all know I love to store things. Got this center armrest, which is pretty nice. Decent width, nothing massive, but it's a decent size. You got a movable tray. You can move it out, it just doesn't slide, and then no lights or anything in there, no charging ports either. You're good to go up above because you have an automatic dimming rearview mirror and garage controls, which are optional on the SEL trim. Our sunglass holder is decent size and it actually has some soft lining in there, so if you have expensive sunglasses, no worries. We have LED lighting in here as well, which is super bright at night. Those are optional on the SEL trim as well. We have a panoramic sunroof, and it is definitely panoramic. It's really massive. I mean, the glass goes way back there, and the part that opens, one, it's really wide from my side to that side, and it goes back pretty far as well, so definitely more than I expected. That panoramic roof is optional on the SEL and standard on the turbo model and up. Another nice little touch is the other storage cubby right here in the dash. Always good to see, just another little space your passengers can put some stuff. The glove box is not lockable though. Now, one thing that I kind of complained to you about is the fact that I feel like the visor is just in my way where I'm sitting. Now, this is my eye level, and it just seems like the seat doesn't go down very far, or this roof line doesn't go back all that much, the windshield line. But otherwise, visibility is good. That rear window is actually really large, so you can see pretty well. And the back window isn't too bad either. Plus, you got your blind spot, your surround view camera, and all that good stuff. Now, this is my first time getting into the back seat. And with this seat folded down, it's not a one-handed operation to get the seat up. You have to pull the lever and pull up on it at the same time. Just a little bit annoying. I've only got one big complaint with this back seat compared to last generation. I'm going to save that for the end of this segment. And now that I'm in here, sitting here, these seats are comfortable. They're soft. I've still got decent thigh support. I've got decent room. And there's hard backs behind these front seats, so your kids can't be kicking you and annoying you. There's a mat pocket on that one. It's sitting up tall. Even with the panoramic roof, I've still got plenty of headroom. I've got a couple of inches right here, so 6-footers probably can be okay back here. The nice thing about these seats is that they can recline way back. This is actually pretty darn comfortable. And I've had a rear-facing car seat in the middle seat, and my wife has been sitting on the side, and she's had enough room to be comfortable. And I haven't had to adjust my seat. We've got a center folding armrest right here with a couple fixed cup holders, a little bit of soft padding. There's even LED lighting up here with the grab handle as well. And then right in front of us, we've got AC vents. We've got a little storage cubby. There's also a couple charging ports down here. We've got two 12-volt power outlets and a 3-prong 115-volt outlet as well. Those USB ports are standard on every trim. Another cool feature that's been great for my baby is optional on the SEL trim and standard on our trim. We get these rear window sunshades on both sides, which is really nice to help block the light. But if you have this one on and you go to turn and look over your shoulder, you really can't see nothing out this window because of this visor. Keep that in mind. And then just to add to the luxury, we have heated outboard seats on this model, on this limited trim, standard. Now I'm in the middle and I can sit here just fine. It's a little bit more upright, but I can still sit without my head touching, which is great. And my biggest complaint, my big gripe, is that they removed the sliding function for these seats. So you can't slide them forward, which most people probably wouldn't. But if you want to fit some more stuff in the back and you can afford to have someone sit here and slide forward, it'd be nice to be able to do that. Under the hood of the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe is my biggest dislike of this vehicle by far, And it's not just this one, but it's every single trim level that you get. So there's two different engine options. Standard is going to be a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated engine, which on a vehicle of this size is just not that good. And that engine does not put out very much power. That 2.4 liter puts out 185 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque. But optional on the SEL and the Limited, you can get a 2 liter turbocharged engine, which is what we have right here. Still a small 4-cylinder engine, but you're gonna get more power. You get 235 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. Still not that great of numbers. All of them are gonna be paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you can get all-wheel drive optional. This one does not have all-wheel drive, and that's one reason the price is a little bit lower, but still you can get it on any trim, either engine. Miles per gallon on this Limited 2 liter turbo with front wheel drive is 20 miles per gallon city, 27 highway, 23 combined. And the best that you can get with the 2.4 liter engine is 22 city, 29 highway. So not too bad with those numbers, but I just would not go for that engine at all. And we're gonna take this out for a test drive, and I'll tell you everything about how it drives in a second, but you can get a trailering package where you actually get a transmission cooler, which is nice. That's optional on any trim, but you can only tow 3,500 pounds as long as you have trailer brakes. So if you're towing a trailer with brakes, you're good. Otherwise, it's like 1,500 pounds. All right, everyone, we are in the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe, going for a test drive here, and I'm just excited because I got a heated steering wheel. That is always nice. I don't care what kind of vehicle it is. I love my heated steering wheel. And it's only like, it's like 48, so it's not even cold, but it's just nice to have. Now, real quick, right off the bat, one cool thing, I showed you that blinker or the blind spot monitor right there. It's really convenient for pulling up next to a curb as well, if you can see that. My first impression with this Santa Fe is that it feels, it honestly just feels kind of laggy. I just am not a fan of this engine and this powertrain, but if you just forget that, this is a solid vehicle. It feels pretty solid as well too. The handling on here is actually fairly light. It's a really easy vehicle to maneuver. Maybe it's not the most precise, but it's good enough. I mean, for a 2-row SUV family vehicle, it drives well, it feels well, and it's just easy to live with. And that's probably all you can really ask for in this vehicle. You all saw how practical it is in terms of like the storage space, the features that you get, the overall space. Can't complain. The turbo can be a little punchy, but there's times where it just feels laggy. And right there, it was honestly pretty good and totally sufficient. However, things are going to be different with that base engine. This is a pretty good sized vehicle, and to have 185 horsepower, it's just not that much, especially when you compare it to other vehicles. Hey, there's another Santa Fe. Now in this test drive, I just kind of want to tell you how it rides, how it handles, some of the acceleration, noise, all of that. All right, we just have front wheel drive, no all wheel drive in this one. Woo! And we were in smart mode right there, so it kind of adapted a little bit to giving me a little bit more throttle, a little bit more punchiness, but it gets you up to speed plenty quick. And you can probably see the head-up display. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. If you'd rather have that on while I'm driving, let me know. I'm just not sure if it gets a little bit annoying right in the line of sight. Now, just kind of on a rolling stop, just in your normal mode here, not sport mode, or just a rolling acceleration. Gonna pass someone. Takes a second, but then once that turbo starts to push you, you do get some pretty good pull at those lower RPMs. So for city driving, things are good. This definitely does not have a whole lot of power once you get up to high speeds like interstate going to pass, but it's enough. It works. And now the handling feel, we're gonna go around a little bit of a sharper turn in a second, but it's just it's not bad, it's not great. And you can see the blind spot mirror or monitor right there, which is nice as well. I really like that feature. It's just like a third safety thing. So one, always look over your shoulder, please. Always turn and look, actually look, instead of relying on your blind spot stuff. And then you have your blind spot in the mirror, and then you have that. So it's kind of like your third check, like you're triple checking that there's nobody there. Now let's do a little brake check. Right off the bat, the brakes are a little bit on the soft side, but their performance is pretty good. I would be curious to see if this would stop as well as some others in the class. I'm not sure that it would, but I can't say for sure. And I go ahead and put it in sport mode and the gauge turns red. And after that upshift, it started to pull pretty good. Got me up to speed fairly quick. But once those RPMs get high, it just kind of loses it. It just kind of loses its pull. It's like it takes a second, then it shifts, and then you're good. And I'm surprised by the lack of body lean in this vehicle. It actually handles pretty well. I shouldn't say handles, but it's composed. It's not like somewhere you go around a corner and you're like, whoa, you feel like you're gonna tip over even if it's not a big corner. So it's not like super precise and dialed in, but it's not gonna scare you like you're gonna tip over. There's no body lean. It's just a lot less than I expected, which is great. Sport mode, holding it over 2,000 RPMs. A little bit of pedal, you get some instant throttle, which is good. You don't really get a whole lot of powertrain noise in here, which is also nice. It's responsive enough. It's just, it seems like stop and go traffic especially, this is really laggy getting going sometimes, which can be annoying. And this Hyundai does have the whole suite of safety features for the driver assist features. You got adaptive cruise control, you've got your lane keeping system, which can be adjusted as to how aggressive it is. And I did a full demonstration on that on the Kia Telluride, which is basically the same kind of settings and systems as this. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description so you can kind of see how that all works. But I'm gonna let myself get over, and it just moved me right away. And I have it kind of on a moderate setting, and it's just doing this for me right now. I'm gonna kind of butt it over, and it just pulled me over right away. It's really a pretty nice system. It does a great job at keeping you in your lane, but please do it yourself. All right, now we're gonna get on a road that's typically a little bit louder. It's where I do all of my highway road testing, because I can get an equal surface and I can test on the same spot every time. My spot is a straightaway where I get the same speed, all the cars on the same spot. Not this in particular right here, but it's a louder texture. And can you hear the road noise? It's honestly not bad. And we have laminated glass over here, which is great. That helps. There's not much for wind noise. And to tell you guys the truth here, I had the Lexus RX 350 F Sport before this last week, and this is just as quiet as that is. I think the perceived quietness in this is maybe I hear just a tad more wind noise, but road noise is literally about the same. And honestly, the decibel rating was a little lower in this than it was in that Lexus. Now that's saying a lot, and I do more than one run. I do multiple runs and average out my readings without any big bump or any loud noise or really windy days to throw the numbers off. So this is impressively quiet for the class. And then when it comes to just daily driving this, it's been comfortable. My wife has been comfortable in the back seat. Visibility is honestly pretty good out of here. The back window, or the second passenger windows, are really nice size, so you can see out pretty well. Driver assist features work well. It's just simple to live with. It's easy to park with the top down camera. Not much you can complain about. I just wish the engine was, one, a V6, or two, a little more powerful, or maybe a little more efficient for what it is. So to wrap things up with the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe, it is a seriously feature-rich two-row SUV. As you heard some of my complaints with the engine choices and the way that goes, other than that, this is a great option if you want a lot of features and a lot of value in a two-row SUV for under $40,000. So that's gonna wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and have a great rest of your day.